Hello. This is Lena. Today, let's learn together about Robert Cialdini's famous book, Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion, and its sequel, Persuasion. These two books are truly Bibles for those who are interested in the psychology of persuasion and influence. Especially for busy working people, knowledge and techniques for moving people are important skills in both daily life and work. Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion, is a book that explains 6 basic laws for moving people. Just knowing these will make communication with people smoother and make important proposals easier to get through. And PRE-SUASION goes one step further and focuses on the preparation stage of persuasion. In other words, it delves into how to prepare the situation and prepare the other person's psychological state before asking for something. For example, have you ever wondered, why does the product in that commercial look somehow attractive? Or, why do I end up agreeing with what that person is saying before I realize it? Let's explore the mechanism behind this with Lena today. As you listen, please think about how to use it in your daily life and work. You may discover something new. First, let's take a look at the 6 laws of persuasion introduced in Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion. These are the core parts of the book, and just knowing them will dramatically change your communication in everyday life and business. The first thing I'll talk about is the law of reciprocity. This is a very simple idea, based on the psychology that, when people receive something, they want to give it back. For example, think back to the tasting corner at the supermarket. When you take a bite of delicious cheese or sweets, don't you feel like you have to buy it somehow? This is the power of reciprocity. Furthermore, the effect is doubled if you add surprise or a sense of specialness. For example, there was an experiment in which a waiter gave a customer chocolate. Even if he gave 1 chocolate normally, the tip increased, but if he gave 1 chocolate and then another extra, the tip increased even more. Being surprised by the one more makes it feel more special, and the other person feels even more grateful. As another example, when asking a hotel to reuse towels, it has been found that more people are likely to help if they are told that the hotel is already donating them. In this way, a major characteristic of reciprocity is that giving first makes the other person more likely to act. If you know this law, you can also apply it when asking someone at work, for example. Just by offering a little help or consideration before asking for something, you will create the desire to return the favor, and your request will be more likely to be accepted. The next law I will talk about is the law of favor. This is also very familiar and easy to understand. It takes advantage of the psychology that people are more likely to listen to the words of people they like or can empathize with. Simply put, getting someone to like you is the first step in persuasion. For example, in our daily lives, when someone flatters us or finds something in common with us, we can suddenly feel closer to that person. When someone says to you, "That necklace looks great on you," or "I love that store too," it just warms your heart. Furthermore, similarity is also an important point. People tend to feel closer to people who are similar to themselves. For example, if you find out that you have a similar name or are from the same place, don't you feel like you're closer to them all at once? In sales, there is a technique that makes it easier to gain the other person's trust just by imitating their speech and gestures. This is sometimes called mirroring, but in short, it is an action of getting close to the other person. There is also an interesting experiment. When a hairdresser flattered a customer by saying, "Any hairstyle looks good on you," the result was that the tips he received afterwards increased significantly. The person who was told this compliment knew it was flattery, but still felt happy. This law of favor can be a powerful weapon in both business and friendship. For example, when you want to get to know a new team member, first find out about their hobbies and interests to find common ground, and then add a small compliment. This will instantly deepen your sense of trust. The power of this law is that when someone you like asks you for a favor, you will naturally say, "Sure." The next law I'd like to introduce is called social proof. This is based on the psychology of everyone else is doing it, so I should do it too. It is said that we Japanese people are particularly prone to this tendency. Have you ever unconsciously chosen something that is trendy or what others are choosing? For example, when you see a line at a restaurant that is popular on social media, you think, it must be delicious because so many people are waiting in line. This is a typical example of social proof. You often see messages like, many people have succeeded with this program, in diet gym advertisements, and this is also aimed at making you think, if everyone is getting results, maybe I can too. In an interesting study, when encouraging students to eat more fruit, the group that was told, most students eat fruit, actually consumed a lot more fruit than the group that was told, eating fruit is good for your health. This is also the power of the psychology of feeling, if others are doing it, I should do it too. If you use this law in your daily life, for example, when proposing a new idea at work, just saying, other departments have adopted this and it has been effective, will make it more likely to be accepted. Also, when recommending a product or service, it is effective to show data or evidence that many people have used it and are satisfied with it. Another key to strengthening social proof is validity. This is to create a sense of, I can do that, too, by showing a specific and reliable example. For example, giving a specific example of, many people who use this method have achieved results in just 1 week, will increase persuasiveness. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the law of authority. This is based on the psychology that people tend to believe the opinions of people with authority or titles. Everyone has had the experience of feeling that, if that person says it, it must be right. For example, when a famous actor or actress introduces cosmetics or supplements in a TV commercial, don't you think, this product looks good, just by seeing it? Even if we don't know if the actor himself actually uses the product, we unconsciously feel that it's okay because a trustworthy person is introducing it. In addition, in order to utilize authority, it is important to increase trustworthiness. Here is an interesting episode. Legendary investor Warren Buffett always talks about his failures first at shareholder meetings. By frankly talking about his weaknesses, I made this mistake, people will perceive him as honest and trustworthy. This sense of trust makes his opinions and proposals even more persuasive. Authority and credibility are also key in corporate crisis management. For example, when a scandal occurs, there are cases where a president's frank apology at a press conference, "We made this mistake," can lead to the restoration of trust. On the other hand, if you try to hide a problem, you will lose trust and the authority effect may have a negative effect. At work and in daily life, you can make your proposals and opinions more likely to be accepted by utilizing your authority. For example, if you say, "This method is recommended by a well-known expert in the industry," your proposal will be more likely to be accepted. However, there is a risk of losing trust if you abuse your authority, so it is important not to forget to be honest. The next thing I will talk about is the law of scarcity. This is based on the psychology that people feel strong value in losing and limited things. This law is the reason why phrases like limited, limited quantity, and limited time only have the power to move us. For example, have you ever seen a line of people waiting to buy a new model of a popular smartphone? Especially when you hear that this color is limited in quantity, you suddenly feel like you have to get that model. In fact, there is a story of a woman who, while waiting in line for an iPhone, offered to let someone else go in line and gave them a Louis Vuitton bag. In this way, rarity increases the value of things and opportunities. Another point is that the fear of losing strongly encourages action. In the world of investment, the following experiment was conducted. When people were told that, if you invest now, you will earn $20,000, and when they were told that, if you don't invest now, you could lose $20,000, the latter was overwhelmingly more likely to take action. This shows the psychology that loss appeals more strongly to emotions than gain. This law is often used in business and everyday life. For example, when people say, "This sale is only for today," or "only a few left," will encourage people to make a purchase decision. In the workplace, too, saying, "If we don't move forward with this project now, our competitors will get there first," can motivate your team. However, when using scarcity, it is important to maintain sincerity. The key to success is to offer something that is truly valuable, and not to lose trust by labeling it as limited. The last law I would like to introduce is consistency. This is based on the psychology of people wanting to continue a position or action once they have taken it. They try to maintain consistency because they want to be responsible for their words and actions. For example, if you want to ask someone for something big, if you start off by asking, "Can you do this for me?" you are likely to be turned down. However, it has been found that if you start with a small request, subsequent requests are more likely to be accepted. In psychology, this is called the foot in the door technique. To give a specific example, in a residential area, when a person asked residents to put up this large sign in their yard for traffic safety, most of them refused. However, when we asked another group to first put a small sticker on their window, and they agreed, we asked them to put the same large sign a few weeks later, and surprisingly many of them agreed. This is because once you have taken the action of cooperating, you will be psychologically motivated to maintain consistency in the future. This law can be used effectively in work and human relationships. For example, when asking a colleague for help, try asking them for a simple task first. After saying, "This is all I need," you can then ask for the next big thing. This will make the other person feel more likely to help me out last time, so I'll help you again this time. There are also research results that show that this law can be applied to prevent your partner from cheating. If you tell your partner that you wish them happiness, this action will be incompatible with the betrayal of cheating, and you will be motivated to maintain consistency. It's a bit interesting. The law of consistency is a flow that draws out small actions and then gradually encourages larger actions, which can help you gain cooperation from others and deepen your relationship. By utilizing the power of taking responsibility for your words, try to use it in your daily life and work. So far, we have introduced the 6 laws of persuasion that appear in Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion. Reciprocity, liking, social proof, authority, scarcity, and consistency. Each law is full of hints for deeply understanding human psychology and using it effectively. By acquiring this knowledge, we can greatly improve the quality of our communication. For example, showing a little kindness in daily life can shorten the distance with the other person, and using social proof in work situations can make new ideas accepted smoothly. Furthermore, by creating a sense of specialness and showing an attitude of taking responsibility for your words, you can build trust and foster stronger relationships. And after knowing these 6 laws, Persuasion teaches us the world beyond. By focusing on the preparation stage of persuasion, you can learn how to prepare the other person to accept your proposals and messages. In other words, if Influence, the psychology of persuasion, is the foundation, Persuasion can be said to be its applied version. The innovation of Persuasion is that the greatest influence lies in preparation for persuasion. In this preparation stage, the key is where to direct the other person's attention. Robert Cialdini focused on the psychology that things that attract attention are perceived as important. By consciously controlling this, the success rate of persuasion can be dramatically increased. For example, one technique for attracting attention is the power of questions. By simply changing the way you ask questions, you can intentionally guide the other person's thinking. As a concrete example, a Canadian study confirmed that the results were significantly different when people were asked, "Are you satisfied with your social life?" and when they were asked, "Are you dissatisfied with your social life?" The former emphasized high satisfaction, while the latter emphasized dissatisfaction. The difference in questions changes where attention is directed, and the result greatly affects the overall perception. In addition, persuasion emphasizes unity. This is to make the other person feel that we belong to the same group. For example, in sales and marketing, consciously using words like we and together can help close the psychological distance between you and the other person. Just as fans of a sports team say, we won, instead of they won, the feeling that you share the same goals and values increases your persuasive power dramatically. In addition, connections that change the other person's psychological frame are also important. For example, a famous home security salesman said, "I left an important document in my car in the middle of a presentation and took the action of leaving his house temporarily." This casual remark created a sense that this person is trustworthy and significantly improved the success rate of sales. This is because only trustworthy people such as family and close friends are allowed to enter and leave the house freely. Through such strategies, Persuasion teaches the importance of creating an environment for persuasion rather than just persuasive techniques. By utilizing this, you can create a state where the other person is more open to your proposal, which results in more effective communication. The importance of attention is repeatedly emphasized in Persuasion. One lesson taught in this book is that what the other person pays attention to determines a large part of their behavior. And concrete methods for directing that attention in the direction we want are also presented. For example, there is a method of using the effect of novelty. People are strongly attracted to things they do not normally see and unexpected events. This is why bright colors and unique designs are used in advertising and marketing. As a concrete example, Cialdini gives a case where a company sent direct mail in a bright pink envelope instead of the traditional white envelope. As a result, the rate at which the envelope was opened increased dramatically. The unexpected presentation attracts the recipient's attention, and the subsequent message is more likely to be accepted. In addition, techniques for manipulating emotions are introduced. By evoking certain emotions, such as fear or relief, the recipient's behavior can be changed. Health-related advertisements often use expressions that suggest danger. For example, it has been found that a message such as, "If you do not undergo this medical examination, your risk of disease will increase," has a stronger effect of encouraging behavior than a message that shows the benefits of a specific health method. Cialdini also touches on the use of egocentrism. People unconsciously respond more sensitively to topics and information that are relevant to them. For example, in sales or presentation situations, you can gain deeper empathy by talking to the other person about how this project will highlight your skills. Persuasion also emphasizes the power of using words and symbols to create specific associations. For example, it is no coincidence that advertisements for luxury car brands have beautiful landscapes and luxury hotels in the background. This associates the product with the values of luxury and exclusivity, stimulating the desire to buy. Finally, the core message of this book is that persuasion is not about changing the other person's mind, but about creating the right environment to create a state where they will naturally accept it. In other words, the key to persuasion is not simply to persuade the other person, but to prepare them in the preparation stage to get them to turn their mind in your direction. Persuasion shows many applications in specific situations. One particularly noteworthy example is the use of questions. The human brain has a tendency to seek answers when asked a question. In other words, the content of the question is a very powerful tool to direct the other person's thinking. For example, let's consider a sales situation. Asking a customer, "How satisfied are you with the current service?" and "What are you most dissatisfied with?" will completely change the way things develop. The former makes you think about the elements of satisfaction, while the latter emphasizes the elements of dissatisfaction. This difference will greatly affect how open the other person will be to your subsequent proposals. Cialdini also repeatedly emphasizes the strategy of changing the direction of attention. By directing the other person's attention to a specific aspect, you can manipulate their overall perception. This is a technique often seen in politicians' speeches. For example, when a policy is criticized, instead of directly arguing about the problems with the policy, you can shift the topic to the policy's successes and economic effects, thereby directing the audience's attention to the positive aspects. In this way, by shifting the focus of attention rather than directly confronting the other person, it becomes easier to get your opinion across. Furthermore, in Persuasion, he also mentions the suggestive power of words. In one famous case, it was confirmed that customers responded completely differently to the same product when a salesman said, "This is an investment," versus, "This is an expense." The word investment evokes positive expectations for the future, so it is perceived more favorably than the word expense. It is also effective to use symbols and visual elements that evoke emotions. For example, it has been found that in charity advertisements, messages that include pictures of children in need have a much higher donation rate than messages that simply say, "Please donate." This evokes the emotion of wanting to help people, making it easier to link to action. Going one step further, applying the concept of unity can make your argument even more persuasive. For example, conveying the message, "This project depends on the success of the entire team," gives the other person a sense of being a part of it. This feeling is the key to increasing the other person's willingness to cooperate. Finally, it is suggested to utilize the power of storytelling to put the teachings of Persuasion into practice. People tend to empathize with stories more easily than with mere data or facts. For example, when explaining the quality of a product in marketing, the effect is multiplied if you include moving stories of people who have used the product. One of the key points of Persuasion is the importance of timing and context. Cialdini states that it is not the message itself that is important, but the timing and context in which the message is delivered that determine its success. This idea is directly related to how you prepare the other person's mind in the preparation stage of persuasion. For example, when a company had a customer fill out a contract, they added a sentence at the beginning of the contract saying, "I am an honest and sincere person." As a result, behavior after signing improved dramatically, and customers began to act more faithfully to the contents of the contract. In this way, by placing a phrase that elicits the other person's awareness that, "I am honest," you can have a significant impact on behavior. Next, regarding the use of emotions. Cialdini states that not only positive emotions, but also negative emotions such as fear and tension should be used effectively. For example, in a campaign to encourage people to undergo health checkups, a message such as, "If you don't take this test, you may miss a serious illness," has been found to be more effective than a message such as, "Get tested to protect your health." This is because fear is a powerful motivator that encourages people to take action. Persuasion also explains how to manipulate consciousness through choice of words. For example, simply changing the word expense to investment in advertising or sales increases the likelihood that customers will accept the proposal positively. Furthermore, not only words but also visual elements have a big impact. By using images that symbolize happy people and successful lifestyles in product advertisements, the product itself is associated with those emotions. Another interesting point is the choice of location. In one study, polling stations set in schools tended to increase votes in favor of education-related policies. This is an example of how the school environment promotes education-related thinking, which in turn influences voting behavior. The idea that places and environments have the power to induce behavior highlights the power of context in persuasion. The choice of words is also an important point in strengthening connections. For example, instead of saying, "This is an idea I came up with," in a presentation, you can make the other person feel that, "I am also involved," by expressing it as an idea that we can work on together. Such words such as "we" and "together" remove the other person's psychological barrier and elicit a cooperative attitude. In addition, visual connections are also effective. For example, A beverage manufacturer used beautiful natural scenery as the background for its product advertisements. As a result, customers began to associate the beverage with the image of natural and healthy, and sales increased. Visual elements have the power to influence more quickly and potentially than words. Next, the concept of unity is discussed. Cialdini states that people are more likely to act when they feel that they are a part of it. For example, creating a sense of unity in any form, such as a family, team, or religious community, strengthens persuasion. As a specific example, in one charity campaign, the donation rate increased significantly when the campaign was told that, if you donate, our entire community will benefit. In this way, a sense of unity is a powerful factor in promoting behavior. Control of attention and continuity. Cialdini states that attention manipulation is not a one-off, but continuity is the key. It is necessary to devise ways to not only grab the other person's attention for a moment, but also to sustain that attention. For example, in the sales process, you can keep the other person's attention by adding a short episode or problem raising before the product explanation, making them wonder, what will happen next? This narrative structure can be used not only in movies and novels, but also in business presentations and marketing. As a specific example, when an IT company introduced new software, instead of directly explaining that using this product will increase efficiency, it started in an anecdote format, saying, as a result of one company introducing this software, we reduced work time by 40% in just 1 month. As a result, the company attracted customers' interest and saw a significant increase in the number of introduction contracts. Building trust. This is the stage where you use the law of reciprocity and favor. For example, by giving something to the other party, such as, I'll give you this pamphlet for free, so please make use of it, you can remove the other party's psychological barrier. Present concrete value. Share statistical data and success stories so that the other party feels that this proposal is valuable. Use the laws of social proof and authority to make the other party feel that this proposal is trustworthy. Appeal to urgency. Add scarcity to encourage action. By saying things like, this campaign ends at the end of this month, you clearly communicate the reason why they need to act now. Individualized persuasion. Cialdini also states that preparation for persuasion should be customized for each person. In other words, it is important to prepare according to the values and interests of the other party. For example, you can persuade more effectively by presenting statistics and logical reasons to those who prefer data-based analysis, and by telling real success stories to those who value emotional stories. Use autosuggestion. Interestingly, it is said that preparation for persuasion is effective not only for the other person but also for yourself. Cialdini points out that if the persuader himself is strongly aware of the value of his beliefs and proposals, he will naturally be able to speak and behave more persuasively. This idea can also be used as self-motivation to boost confidence before important presentations and negotiations. Persuasion does not just teach strategies and techniques, but also delves deeply into how to apply these to everyday life and business. For example, when proposing a project at work, the key is to first create a state in which the other person is likely to accept the proposal. Specifically, before the proposal, share relevant success stories and data to plant the image in the other person's mind that this proposal will work. Finally, please use this knowledge to create wonderful changes in your own life and work. Moving people is not simply about manipulating the other person, but about drawing out proposals and actions that are valuable to the other person. This is what we call true influence. Thank you for visiting Book Summary Library today. This channel continues to grow every day with the aim of becoming the #1 book explanation library in Japan and the world. We will continue to deliver learning that will brighten your future with all our heart. I would be very happy if you could support me by subscribing to my channel or commenting. I'm sure your efforts will bear fruit. Let's continue learning together and build a wonderful future. See you next time.